So we can go now with Ramesh. You are here with us. Very happy to meet you.
Yeah. Hello, Alessandro. Hello, Jesper, and
Hello.
everyone. Good evening, everyone. So really happy to be here. First of all, let me thank the organizers for inviting me, and really feel honored and happy to be here to have this wonderful discussion before our formal training camp begins in a few months. So the whole point is of organizing this PDA trainer seminar and following up with the level up program by offer spell is one on the aspect like we have to focus on the trainers, produce good trainers, quality trainers who can help their students in the most efficient way and in a holistic manner. I'll come to that. And followed by the offer spell talent level up program where we can actually focus on the players' issues by directly training them. So there are two aspects to this. And since we have all the most of the trainers here, we have seen as trainers, there are many challenges we face, isn't it? One, I would say the technical issues. What are the topics we need to teach our students, and what are the source material from which book or database I need to teach the students, and how do I select the position? How do I explain the position in a way the students are able to understand and absorb, and more importantly, implement in their games? Because I've heard many times, like hearing from different coaches saying, my students are doing well in the class, but they are not able to implement it in their games. So there are the technical aspects. So what are the different topics? What are the source material? How do we explain and teach in a way the students are able to absorb and understand? So the second aspect is uh, the psychological aspects, I would say, and this is probably one aspect which is largely ignored in the training community. We don't pay much attention to the psychology of the students. We are just focusing largely on the technical aspects, their opening, middle game, end game, and so on. But I strongly believe that the decisions we take over the board, the moves we play, there is a thought process behind. And the thought process is heavily influenced by the individual's qualities. So, for example, let's say if I'm a player who doesn't like to take risks, I'm not very happy in complicated situations and so on. If this is the way I feel in my mind, then the choices of my openings will be influenced by this mindset. I would not want to play an opening which is very complicated or quite risky. So I would prefer to play an opening which is quite solid, safe, and so on. And similarly, I will not study probably the games of Michael Tal because it's too risky for me. I would rather prefer to study games of, let's say, Karpov or Smyslow, and so on. So the choice of the openings, the choice of the players whose games I study, and the choice of everything else, my decisions over the board. If I have an option to go for a risky continuation, probably sacrificing a pawn, let's say, or to go to a solid end game, I would prefer to go to an end game. So here we see like our personal likes and dislikes, our personality, and they influence the way we learn chess, we train chess, and we play chess, and how we take decisions. All these are influenced by our personality. So, as trainers, I think it is very important for us to pay attention to these aspects as well. Because when we say if we can sacrifice a pawn in the opening for quick development, the players who have natural attacking tendencies, it's easy for them to follow this advice. But for players who don't feel comfortable in such situations, even though they can understand the concept, it will be practically very difficult for them to apply it. So some of the critical aspects which the trainers need to look into, apart from the technical aspects I already mentioned, like how do we teach, how to conduct an attack, how to handle end games, how to handle difficult positions, saving difficult positions, and how to convert advantage into a win, how to learn positional chess, how to calculate variations, how to choose openings, how to prepare openings, and so on. So these are the technical aspects, and we have a lot in this angle. But as I was mentioning, the psychological angle also, there are many critical questions. For example, one common problem most of us trainers would have noticed with our students is the fear of losing games, isn't it? Our many students, they have this fear of losing games and the subsequent loss of rating. So this affects their confidence, and many players react by getting into time trouble, by hesitating to take decisions over the board. They get into time trouble, and many times what happens when we lose games, we are also losing confidence. We are not just losing the game, but we are also losing a bit of confidence in our own abilities. And a player who is not very confident is not going to perform freely. So there is this fear of losing, and which also you know, translates into kind of time trouble issues, and low confidence. And there are players who have concentration issues, and dealing with the tournament pressure. So when we play in tournaments, the players take too much pressure, and as a result, they are not able, they lose concentration and they are not able to perform well. So how to handle these tournament pressures, and what to do if we hit a low form. So when we are not playing well, our results are not good. What should I do to come out of this situation? And what should be the general approach I need to have? And what are the routines I need to follow during the tournament, how much I should prepare, how to prepare for the opponent, and so on. So there are, and how to deal with our weaknesses. So many of us feel I'm not good in certain areas. So can I become better in these areas? How do I do that? And how do I prioritize what topics I need to learn, where I should focus, and so on. So there are a lot of issues which, if as trainers, if we can handle them in a professional way, the students will get a lot of clarity, and then they will be able to uh, adapt their preparation techniques, which will make them more efficient. So these are the three. One is the technical aspect as trainers. What is our role, and how do we teach in a more effective way? And second is the psychological aspects. And also the third aspect is how to, there are many issues which are related to during the tournament. So during the tournament, what should be my routine? How much I should prepare? How do I deal with losses, and so on? And there's also the question, how much I should analyze my games, the role of analytical engines, and so on. So there are a lot of issues, and I'm eagerly looking forward to discuss about all this during our training sessions.
Thank you so much. It is wonderful, brilliant, and very interesting. I'm sure that the trainers between us would be extremely happy to go deeper in such issues. Uberto, would you like to ask some maybe more private question about Ramesh lives and
Okay. First of all, thank you again for all the introduction to the organizers to have invited me. One thing that I have to say to Grandmaster Ramesh is, of course, our belated happy birthday. We know
Thank
that
you
you
very
had
much.
your birthday yesterday, so I think this is it's a happy day. But related to this, if you had a wish for the candidates tournament, now we are currently waiting for the final day. Do you have a wish for your student? And second, do you think that is something to take as a lesson from this candidate tournament for you trainers? What the players did well and did not so well during the tournament?
Yeah, so the first question is like my student Pragnanda is playing in the candidates, and in the second half, it did not go well for him. He was kind of in the second position for the first half throughout, and then he lost 2 games in the second half. Now, my wish, generally, I don't believe in predictions, And I always tell my students and to the other trainers as well, I strongly believe like whoever deserves to win should win. So if it is not my students and someone else is more deserving, and they should win. So I will be really happy if and when that happens. So may the best player win. So that's my first wish. And regarding the lessons to be learned as a trainer, it's very important. Like for me, I don't judge my students on a game-to-game basis or on a tournament-to-tournament basis. So I don't see the results of the candidates tournament for Prague as a setback, but I see it as a fantastic opportunity because we obviously have done something wrong, and we are paying the price for those decisions we have taken. So it is back to the drawing board. We have to identify what are the changes we need to make in our approach in because this is not the last major tournament he's going to play. There are going to be many interesting challenges in the future. So we have to learn our lessons and adapt our training methodologies, our priorities, and focus on these things. But the way I see is like in this candidates tournament, we have also brought in a few other trainers, and the Prague has been training together with them as well. So there has been some new angles tried out in this candidates. And after the tournament is over, we will obviously be discussing about all these things as well. But the important thing is, as I said, when our students are not performing well, they have to realize that as trainers, we are 100% with them. We are not going to judge them negatively, but we just to see this as an opportunity to identify where things are going wrong and make the necessary corrections. So this will be my approach.
Thank you very much for this honest answer. One thing that while I was listening to your introduction to the three different main areas of training, which is the technique, in a way, the psychological part, and the competition part, I was wondering, we are not training world champions. Most of us are training normal students and players at our different age. Is there an age when psychology kicks in? So at the beginning, you have to have students and children having fun. They have to love the game and start playing for fun. Then they start competing. And then they start looking about the strength and the ELO and so on and so forth. And then at some time, psychology comes in, how to behave, how to better prepare. Is there a specific age in your experience when psychology becomes very important?
Yeah, usually what happens is like, in my view, how we learn the game, how we look at chess itself is very important. And I generally have these discussions with my students, even when they are as young as 8 years old. So the thing is like, we don't go into heavy psychology with them, but we try to show them some directions that there are some things which are very important, and if they can understand and adapt at a very young age, it will the basic foundation will be really strong, because once they understand and have clarity on some of the major issues. For example, let's say one of the common complaints many trainers have is that my student is not practicing at home. Like they come to the training academies or for the sessions with the trainers, and then they show a lot of interest in the class. And once they go home, the training is not continuing. And then they come back after maybe 3-4 days for the next session and so on. So here it's something like if we don't address this then and there, then after 3-4 years, let's say, they will probably have a very low rating because they are not learning chess away from us. They are learning only with us, but away from us, they are not. The learning is not continuing. And if this is going to happen for 3-4 years, then that is how they will believe chess has to be learned. That someone has to teach me. I don't have to learn it by myself. So at what age we interfere? After 3-4 years? I don't think so. So I think it's important, like when we start working with very young children, So we just explain these things. So what are we trying to do, and what we believe is the right approach, right methodology. And then we talk about these things to the children. And then we can say, we can just, so I normally tell my students, like, everything you want to learn in chess, you can learn. And this gives them a lot of hope. And I also try to tell them, like, you should not look at yourself like you are good at certain things, you are bad at certain things. Because if at young age, if they believe like my end game is weak, or my attacking skills are bad, my calculation, I'm not good. So if they develop such negative perceptions about themselves, then they will try to stick to only areas which they think they are good at. And when they ignore these areas for few years, on the areas which they don't feel comfortable with, they don't feel confident enough, then that will become their weak areas. And then it will be very hard to convince them that they can actually learn these things, and because we had not done it much earlier. So we have to give them the hope that whatever they want to learn in chess, they can learn in chess, provided they are willing to put the effort to learn them. So putting this effort to learn them is also important. And we have to tell them, like, there is so much to learn in chess, and they cannot learn all this only in the few hours they are spending with us. So there is so much more to learn as well. So we have to tell them what are the different things that they have to learn, how they can learn many of these things by themselves. And this is also an opportunity, because if they can learn many of this which the other children are not doing, they will already have a big advantage over their competitors at a young age itself. So we have to give them a honest explanation about what is expected from them, and also give them the hope that they can actually learn these things. And then they don't see themselves like, I'm not good in this, I'm not good in that. So I just tell them, like, one of my things I try to stress is, what they perceive as weakness is not weakness, it's simply absence of strength. That means they have not built up their strength in some areas, so they feel weak in those areas, but they're not actually weak. So if they spend some time learning those things, they will feel competent and capable even in those areas. So giving them hope, and uh, trying to convince them value of good work ethics, and that curiosity to learn new things. If we can encourage them in these directions, I think it will be extremely helpful for them.
Thank you. Excellent, very inspirational.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. We have to talk now. I mean that Jesper is your partner in this event, also for the FIDE side of the course. So I would like to also to present to other trainers here, which are the proposal we have for the training course. Please, Jesper, you can say something very, very shortly about that.
The thing is, first of all, is that both Ramesh and I are FIDE senior trainers, and that means that we can give this type of courses, and we have given those many times before. And I think there are two good reasons why to come to these courses. Number one is that you will get different type of titles. And this will be like a certificate that will show your strength as a chess trainer. And there is no doubt that this is also working all over the world. So this is something to have, to get this kind of certification that you are a good chess trainer. That is number one. But of course, the most important thing is actually that I hope that Ramesh and I can teach you, or at least, but is my opinion, is that we can share our ideas, just like Ramesh just did, about his holistic way of thinking in different areas of chess training. And that we can share our experiences. That this will be dealt with both when it comes to the actual training side, but then, how to become a good leader, how to become a good trainer, and how to give the children these skills. How do we give them these skills? Beside that, we will dig deeper into different specific topics during these days that we are working together. But I just want to say that for me, every time I have given this course, I also learn something, because I know that we have many very good trainers. Like now I mostly know Lexi Ortega and Piscopo and those trainers that we have. But I know you have some really good trainers in Italy, and I'm really looking forward to see and compare how can I learn from you, and have we done it in Scandinavia, and not the least, of course, from Ramesh's side, how have you done it in India? Because India is now the leading country of the world when it comes to chess training. So the basic idea is that we meet, we discuss these kind of different topics, we learn from each other, and hopefully this will help Italy to take a new step in the right direction when it comes to chess training. Because just like Ramesh pinpointed, I certainly believe that if we want to take chess to a new level, it is us trainers who must do it with a good pedagogy and a good strategy. And this, I hope that Ramesh and I can inspire you to do. I don't know if you want to inflict anything, Ramesh, if you want to say something on this, but yes.
No, I'm good. I think I've covered most of the relevant areas. So as Jesper mentioned, we both have a lot of experience. We have already done many FIDE trainer seminars in different countries. So we have a lot of experience in this. And as Jesper mentioned, I'm eagerly looking forward to having a lot of healthy and mutually learning experience in our discussions. Looking forward to working with you all.